Hello and welcome to the All Round Coaching podcast, episode number 20, which for this one, obviously getting to 20 episodes is a pretty big deal, would you not say, Mel?
Yeah, 20 big episodes. I remember when we first started doing the podcast, I think you were absolutely like khaki your pants to just getting to one. So, yeah, actually 20 episodes in, and how does it actually feel? Does it feel like it's as scary now as it what it was when you first started?
No, it does feel a lot easier now, and obviously with episode 20 I did want to do the roundup because my first episode was the launch of 42 Elite, and I think I did it in about 8 segments for a 7-minute podcast. I was just absolutely shitting myself, pacing up and down, and then obviously bringing you in was probably a good accident. It was more of a, you were a guest, but now you are obviously co-host.
Yeah, I think after the second episode, it was obviously original intent to just like interview, wasn't it? It's just to get guest speakers on and yeah, just to, I suppose, get different stories and get different viewpoints, wasn't it, really? But I think we'd spoke afterwards that, well, we had that much fun making the bloopers that I think we just loved it that much that it was just like, all right, okay, let's just get involved and just get stuck in and continue.
Yeah, it was the getting started episode, and I think obviously the bloopers, people did notice the chemistry and how much we actually just bounced off each other, and I think that was probably one of the most popular episodes. Obviously further on into it there was a most popular episode which I will go over shortly, but over this course obviously we've covered topics switching off to switch on, which is people actually having downtime without feeling guilty. Then I went over my why, which is an episode that I did on my own, a little bit more serious, but it gives people an insight into why I do what I do, and obviously finding the importance of your why, because if you don't know why you're doing something and if it doesn't align with your goals, then naturally it'll either dissolve and disintegrate itself, or it's just, if it goes against your values, it is kind of hard to stay authentic in what you're doing.
I think a lot of people reacted to that particular episode quite well anyway, just because of how vulnerable you were and how, I mean, it's, anyone that has listened to that episode, like, will understand why. You talk about your why.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's from a listener's point of view, that one's probably a lot more open and a lot more honest.
Yeah, I think I got some messages that people actually resonated with that and took a little bit away from it. So not every podcast is going to be hard and heavy. Some will be covering like the myths, a little bit more information, a little bit of jest, a little bit of life, and obviously we aim to give some value, a bit of guidance, advice and some tips within these episodes that we are doing as well.
Yeah, I think we're also conscious of, I suppose, balancing that out with life, like just actually what goes on with each of us. Like, for some reason people seem to be interested. But yeah, just actually, I mean, we do get up to some stupid stuff, but it's not ridiculous. But yeah, I think it's just nice to add a little bit more of our personalities into things. I think as we got through the episodes, we felt like we didn't need to lean into actually being so, what's the word, educational.
Yeah, because I think people, the fact that, I don't like saying we're walking the walk, but you're a client of mine, that's how you originally started. In the past, I've probably made all the mistakes that I don't want clients to make now. So we've gone over like life, the myths, and actual coaching, what it involves, and how you actually achieve your goals, rather than just spouting off sciencey topics and people probably not being able to relate to that or even understand it.
Yeah, and you get an actual real viewpoint on what we think as well. Like, sometimes it's not gospel, is it? We're not saying that this is absolutely the ways or the laws that we're laying down, but I guess it's just our understanding and our knowledge of what works.
Yeah, and I think that's the best thing about, we actually brought clients on, a few clients of mine, and each client was very different. Though there was some things that were cropping up that were quite similar, like the gym confidence and how it was feeling starting out, and the first magic 3 months being the toughest. That was the most interesting when we get people on. Like, a lot of people can relate to that, resonate with it, and a lot of people are in the same position. At the same time, it opens up, people are actually different and all goals are different as well.
Yeah, just different, again, just I suppose touching on different life points as well. Like, we've had Chris on, who is obviously getting married next year, and he found things very hard at the beginning.
Yeah.
Where he's obviously now a lot more confident in himself and in going to the gym, and he actually loves it. I think he's turned a corner there big time, whereas I think Rachel's story was more around starting during probably quite a difficult period where it was obviously the midst of the pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, that just highlights the imperfect action. She could have waited, she could have left it, but she didn't. She started at what most people would have said the worst time, and she actually got the most from it, and obviously now developed, well, going into a career of coaching herself as well.
Yeah, which is mega. And obviously Jenna's story, which was more centred around, I suppose, the benefits of training for her to help her with her with her mental health, which I think we both found was quite an intense episode to record anyway, just because the subject matter was it's so personable to most people that you don't want to get it wrong. I think we came away from that feeling quite intense. It was an intense recording, that one, I thought.
Yeah, I think it took a while for me because obviously it did matter, and it was, I don't want to say the more serious one, but it wasn't something that you could make light of it. Like, there was a couple of jokes here and there, but that episode was important to me myself. Obviously, I don't want to say being mentally imbalanced, but we've all struggled, and we always will. And it's not having that stigma behind it. Like, you can still live life, and I always say, I won't live by a label, despite obviously the mental health side of things as well. So it was nice to get obviously clients on there, opening up a little bit of vulnerability from them, but also showing that the changes that they've made from starting coaching to where they are now, coming off medication and actually feeling the best that they have done just because of exercise, the nutrition, and actually coaching, helping their life. The most popular episode that we did was our life and commitment one. That got the most plays. I wonder why that was.
I'm not sure. Maybe we're just talking about the commitment side of things. Yeah, I mean, that was obviously a big one from. Yeah, I don't think I've ever announced a relationship on a podcast before, so that was probably the start. Yeah, the start of obviously of us, as partners. And
yeah, I think the reason why I did it was I didn't want to go around to every person and have to explain myself. But obviously from that, people tried to tell me how I felt, that I was confused. How could I spend my entire life being straight for, what am I now? How old am I? 33. To then decide I was gay. And I would just like to put it out there, like, love is love, connection's connection. And I've always said you can fall in love with a person. And it's not to say, I'm not going to say there's not a gender, like there is male and female. It's just that I fell in love with a female, and it's probably the best and easiest relationship I've had. Like, it's an actual genuine connection, and there's no, like, I'd always get a feeling, like my gut would always tell me everything, but there's absolutely nothing with you, and it just feels so effortless. Like, I love coming home at the end of the day and you're there. I love when you come home, and yeah, it's still exciting. And I know a lot of people will say it's the honeymoon period, but it absolutely is not. Like,
yeah, we're 3 months in, so we've hit that magic 3 month mark that we keep talking about. But no, it's one of the best things that has happened to me this year, and it's amazing. And I think for some unbeknownst mad reason, I think the podcast has helped kind of bring us both together, because it meant that we saw a lot of each other beforehand anyway, didn't we? Where I think the podcast sessions meant that we actually had to physically make that time for each other.
Yeah, and we spent a lot of time together. And I would like to say, obviously, I am 9 months into my brand, from rebranding, going it on my own, going from a team and then to myself. You are the creator of the brand. You brought up the name, how it looks, and you delved into my values, what was important to me. And that's why all around coaching came about, because it was never just a physique, it's all round. It's your mindset, your behaviours, your nutrition, your training, like actual health. So yes, I do transformation, but you looked deeper than just giving me a logo and saying, here you go, and then charging me. So our relationship obviously did grow from that. We spent a lot of time creating the brand, and I think...
Yeah, definitely. I think that's how we both got quite closely, as friends, really, wasn't it? Because...
so client, friends, and then more.
Yeah, I'm really glad of it.
We were just meant to meet. Like I always say, things happen for a reason, and obviously Mel came at the right time for me. She just luckily landed there for a new brand, dangled a carrot and I bit it.
No, it was nice because we'd had our like weekly or bi-monthly catch-ups. With like coffee shops, and then it then quickly turned from like meetings about the brand to let's go and do a bit of a brunch tour of the Northwest. And then obviously Paris kind of like, I suppose, kind of got us a little bit closer.
There's a meeting that we had. Well, it wasn't really a meeting. I just wanted to go for dinner, and I was like, fuck it, let's go Paris. And I think a lot of people said then, like, yes, it is a romantic sitting. They're like, oh, it's quite romantic, that. And I was like, for fuck's sake, can two women not go away together? But I think there was things there. Like, we didn't action anything, but it started to probably get a little bit more confusing. And
yeah, I think once you like, and naturally what happens is that you tell people and then they go, oh, I've seen it coming. And I think from the outside, it probably did. It didn't look suspicious, but I think because we spent so much time together, especially during May, June, where we were like on regular walks together, and I think there was a week where we'd not had a day apart, which for me is unusual from a friendship perspective because you do need some space. So yeah, I think I don't think I could get enough of your company, and I just wanted to be around you, and hopefully, well, I'm assuming you felt the same because you didn't go anywhere.
No, I rooted myself, but I think Laura going away for 17 days and then me babysitting Cooper, you were there as well. So I think we actually got a lot closer there, having our little romantic walks at night.
Yeah, so thanks, Laura.
Yeah, we can thank Laura for now becoming lesbians.
Yeah, fast forwarding that whole process.
But no, it was the best thing that happened. So I generally feel happier in life, and I think that probably comes across more. Me as a person, well, it has been said that I look really happy and smiley and all glowy and dewy. So you have added to that. Obviously, podcast episode generally grew from that and our connection, and we just we don't script any of these. We do just have a conversation. It's like we're talking to each other.
Yeah, I think we started off with some of the episodes where we were trying to really heavily script it, and it just felt that you were trying to hit points, and it's just the more natural you can make it, the better it is. And I think, taking out obviously the stumbles, the stutters, the fuck ups, I think leaving those in is always much nicer for people.
Yeah, these aren't meant to be perfect. Like, sometimes if people just want to laugh, you can flick one of these on and it's an easy listen. Obviously, the coaching aspect, I will give tips here and there and what coaching can do for your life, but we generally just want to bring a little bit of information, obviously help people along the way, a little bit of advice, and know that it's okay to look after your body, turn gay if you want to, have a laugh along the way, take your friend on a parish trip and coerce her into becoming a lesbian.
So that's one way to do it.
Oh, that was such a fun trip though.
Yeah, I mean, we had a really good time, but I think with these episodes, it's a case of just having a conversation, not always with ourselves. It's just with people that hopefully are listening. And
I think it does flow better because we have a genuine, authentic connection, and it's easy to talk to each other. Like, I'd never be sat in a room and think, what the fuck can I say to her? And we never force anything to be funny. Like, we're naturally just a bit dorky.
Yeah, absolutely, 100% dorky.
Mel's more dorkier than me, though.
Thank you.
She tries to be cool.
I do try to be cool, and it just doesn't work. I think I end up coming off worse off for it. End up falling over or something.
Oh.
Yeah.
I still enjoy our bloopers, to be fair. Like, we will start and do a little bit more videos soon. It's because we do some of these quite late at night. Like, today's Sunday, it's going on 7 p.m. Mel's hungover, showing that we can balance life, run a business, get a physique, and have fun at the same time.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, which is why my voice is a little bit croaky today. Far too many tequila roses and a bottomless brunch. Done me in.
Yeah, and I went to pick her up last night. So this is the the upside of Mel actually having a relationship now. She's got an on-call taxi service.
Oh, that's not what you're about. No, but you did have a car full of women last night screaming and shouting.
Yeah, you know when you're that sober person and it's hard because you can't join in with the lols, and it's just like you're sat there thinking, what the fuck do I say?
What have I agreed to?
No, obviously your friends seem really lovely as well, and I think your vibe attracts your tribe, and I think you've got an amazing vibe, and obviously your friends are like that as well. And I'm excited for life with you, and you've already brought so much to it anyway, in more ways than one.
Oh, aren't you cute?
I'm probably a little bit more melty Mel.
You are meltier than I am.
I never used to be. I think if people knew me, they'd know that I was always classed as a little bit not cold, but maybe aloof at times. Nobody'd ever break through them barriers, but Mel did, and here I am pouring out my love on a podcast. Hoping that our number one listener Chris is listening as well. But no, each episode it has been fun to do, and we've gone over your health is for your life. Well, it's for life, isn't it? Really, no amount of money in the world can buy not only a physique but your health. So that's why I think a lot of people will notice with the social media stuff that I put out, like I do advocate that your health is for life and you should be looking after it, whether it's your mindset, your body, and then obviously product of your environment. If you've got kids, like bringing them up in that. And I think that's what I want to put across on podcasts. Like there's a few episodes I want to do that are probably a little bit more serious, but I think if people hear it, it might make people rethink a few decisions or...
Yeah, I just don't think people see things as clearly sometimes when they're not got either someone actually having a story to tell, and I think you have got a story to tell in terms of why you do. Was obviously the why episode. Obviously, I helped that, but I think there's a few other layers there that have obviously led you to the path that you're on now.
Do you know what? I have got many layers, and I think I'd write a really amazing book. Thankful therapy did help me because them layers obviously were all squashed down and condensed into one little erupting volcano. But I am excited for all future episodes to come, and probably the one that I do next. I won't announce it now, but it will be quite personal, maybe a little bit of an eye-opener, and hopefully for some people change the way that they maybe cope or respond to things that I am looking forward to going into. A bit of vulnerability again from me, but...
I think we've touched on it quite a few times in some episodes as well, so it almost made sense to bring it up and give it its own episode as well.
Yeah, I think it does deserve its own episode, and it's one I'm passionate about, so I want to do it justice. And then people might second think why when they ask, oh, why are you not doing this, why are you not doing that, and obviously the stigma behind it. So you'll have to tune in to see what that one is about. I will
nice big dangly carrot there.
I will leave that there. But all episodes will be based obviously around our life, a little bit of health, a little bit of fitness, and obviously what's to come, because obviously at the minute I am doing EIQ to then be a fully qualified nutritionist to help people within that. So for me, my development is important to me. Rather than coaching being a price for someone, you're not just paying X amount for what you could get anywhere, you're paying for that knowledge and obviously what the coach has put behind it, and that's what I'm passionate in. So I always want to bring the best service to people, and even if it's free for the podcasts or if people actually sign up to coaching.
I mean, for you, the more that you know, the more you'll grow, isn't it? Like you'll hopefully be able to kind of feed that off into your clients, and you know, I don't think I'm a firm believer of every day should be a school day. So if there's a better way of like learning and bettering yourself, then why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you do that?
I think I always struggled with learning because I didn't, and I think it makes sense now, like I should be learning what I'm passionate about and what I want to help people with, not what you're told to maybe help people with, because there was a few things that I'd pay for education-wise that I couldn't apply to my clients, but it was more of a dick swing into maybe impress other coaches. So I think now that I have found my own path and obviously 9 months into my own brand, I'm able to do what I'm passionate about and what I want to help people with, and I think that's the key thing. You're never too old to make any decisions, it's never too late, and anything worth doing does take time, and it is, coaching still is a lifelong commitment, my learning and development, and along as like obviously your health and fitness goals, everything does align that way. And that's what I do want to bring in my coaching, hence obviously offering now not more than one service. I offer a few things to reach more people, help more people, and obviously this will be growing. By the end of this year, all round coaching will be in a new place, a little bit more experience, and I'm excited of what's to come. And you know what's more amazing? That I get to share that with you. And you get to help me grow as well.
Yeah, it's nice. I've always, regardless of whether I've been in a relationship with you, I've always tried to be your biggest cheerleader, and just because I think you're so passionate about what you do, and I've seen a massive benefit. I think I said to you the other day, like obviously we're going on holiday in just under 2 weeks now, and I think this is the first time in my life I genuinely feel like, you know what, I'm really looking forward to being in a bikini, like away, like feeling so confident in myself and how I look, and you know what, I won't go into full fuck it mode, not just because I'm on holiday with my coach, but because I get so much from where I'm at and how I feel that why would I jeopardise that for a week away? My life can still continue. And I think it's really hard, like, I think we talked about it before, where once you're on the other side and, you know, you've seen the light and you know what it feels like to kind of be in a better health position. it's hard to kind of not get, I suppose, not upset by or by frustrated when people aren't kind of looking after themselves as much as what they could do, when for the most part it's quite simple basic stuff really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and it is. People think it should be more complicated than what it is, and it is so simple. It's just the fact that it's not easy, and it has to be consistent, and I think that's where people fall down. But in my eyes, like, time will always pass, so you can either look after your health now and obviously not have an easier life when you're older, but actually be able to live a little bit easier and mobile. And I think that's the one thing people neglect. Like, they'll try and look for quick and easy now, and they spend longer looking for quick and easy, on and off, on and off, on and off, rather than just committing to something and being a little bit more sensible, because it isn't about sacrifice, it's just a little bit of compromise sometimes.
I think you use that analogy, don't you? And I think I'd reiterate something similar, because I'm listening to the Stephen Bartlett Diary of a CEO audio book at the moment, and I think he uses an analogy that if you are given the option to have one car, you can choose it, but the caveat is that you have to have that car, you have to look after that for the rest of your life. You would read the manual 4 or 5, 6 times. Any sort of scrapes, dents, bumps, you would take it straight to the garage and get it fixed. But yeah, why don't people do that with their bodies? Like, why don't they look after themselves if there are any niggles, pains? Why are they putting shit oil in?
Yeah.
If they know full well that it's gonna fuck it up. Like, it's it's really, really weird. You just forget that you've only got one mind, one body for the rest of your life. You don't get them. You don't get that second chance, do you, with it?
Yeah, and I think people only see it from the aesthetic point, but what goes inside does matter. And people ignore that because they think not everything is visible on the outside. So it makes sense to look after yourself. Like, I've always compared, if you had a Ferrari, you wouldn't put shit oil in it, fucking shit petrol. You'd look after it, wouldn't you?
Of course you would. You put it in a nice garage as well and look after it.
Yeah, I mean, my car's my pride and joy. I look after that. I think that's is similar to my health as well.
Yeah, but I mean, you've in the similar analogy, you fixed it. So like, you've had a few bumps and scrapes this week, haven't you? It's not been a good week.
No, I haven't. Someone reversed into me. I have not had a good week, but I didn't carry it over. And I think, despite having the most awful menstrual cycle I've ever had, and probably being a little bit aggier, like fatigue, I didn't, as much as my car's my pride and joy, I didn't fly off the handle when that person reversed into me, because I didn't know she was having a bad time, but I was nice about it, and she appreciated me actually being really nice, and it was sorted there and then. I think if I'd have responded different or flew off the handle, then it would have been a different outcome. So it just shows that you don't need to be a twat, all in all. So yes, I will wrap episode 20 up, the roundup, and we have actually enjoyed each episode, but next week will be not a little bit more serious, but probably one that people need to listen to. It'll be an insight into my life, why I make the choices I make, and obviously probably my views on the subject, which I will go over. So if anyone obviously has any questions, my inbox is always open. If anyone has any ideas or anything they want to hear on the podcast, drop me a message. Anyone, if they need coaching, help, or just any questions, I have got a website as well, which is attached to the podcast, and we will leave it there. So me and Mel will be back next Monday, our normal Monday sessions. And I'll let Mel say goodbye to everyone. I'll let Mel wrap it up. She's a sensible one.
No, I'm just going to go and lie down on the couch now after spending 20 minutes talking about the podcast.
No, she's not okay. We had a nice roast dinner today, though, so it's made her happy.
Yeah, I needed that roast dinner. Like, you just need something comforting.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I don't think a roast dinner is the worst choice to make.
No, we made good choices. A lot of people would have had a Mackey's or a KFC and at the feelings today, but you didn't. We had a nice little roast together.
Still got into the gym.
Yeah, we did. So yes, showing balance. But yes, we will see you next week, guys. Hope you've enjoyed listening, especially Chris that will listen to this. And we'll be back next week.
See you later.